Welcome back to my channel, Math and Language, and we're going to tackle Precalculus Hyperbola Part 1 Introduction. So let's have an introduction about hyperbola. Ano ba yung hyperbola? Hyperbola is the set of all points in the plane as a difference of whose distances from two fixed points is a positive constant. Okay, so medyo magulo ito, don't worry. Didiscuss ko naman step by step at syempre dadaan tayo sa mga terminologies dito. Alright, so let's move on to the terminologies, guides, and hyperbola formula table. So let's start with the vertices. Vertices, ito yung plural ng vertex. So ito yung some fixed distance, A, from the center. Tatalakayin natin mamaya ano ba yung A na yan. So makikita nyo, ito yung parang nag-turn yung curve ng hyperbola nyo. So dalawa to palagi ah. Pag hyperbola, dalawa yung makikita nyo yung curve. Siyempre, dalawa din yung vertices. Next one is the center. Ang center naman is the midpoint of the line segment joining the vertices. Aside from the origin, it can also be placed elsewhere depending on the equation. So from this image, ang center natin ay nasa origin. Ang center pwede rin sa ibang place, hindi lang siya pwede sa origin lang, okay? Moving on, let's have the foci. Foci, ito yung plural ng focus. The foci of a hyperbola are inside each branch and each focus is located some fixed distance c from the center. So, yung c malalaman din natin mamaya. And always remember, ang foci or yung focus nasa loob siya palagi ng mouth ng hyperbola. Okay, next one. Ano ba yung A na yun? Yung A, ito yung distance from the center to one vertex. So, from 0, 0 to 2, 0, that's A na yun. Okay? So, center to one vertex, that's A. So, mapapansin mo, dalawa yung A natin kasi dalawa yung vertices natin eh. Isa sa kaliwa, isa sa kanan. So, dalawa yung nilagay kong A. Next one, yung C. C naman, ito yung distance from the center to one focus. So, dalawa din yung C natin kasi dalawa yung foci natin. Or, yung plural ng focus which is foci. Let's move on. Let's go to the transverse axis. Ang tawag dito sa transverse axis ay minsan tawag din major axis. It's the line containing the foci, vertices, and center. Kahalera niya to. So, sa nakalagay yung foci, vertices, and center mo, ay yung transverse axis or major axis. Okay, next one. Conjugate axis. Kung may transverse axis tayo, meron naman tayong conjugate axis. It's the line through the center and perpendicular to the transverse axis. Okay, so kanina yung transverse axis kasama niya yung foci, vertices, and center. Dito naman sa conjugate axis, yung center lang. Okay? So perpendicular siya sa transverse axis. Alright, next one. Kanina meron tayong A at C. Ngayon, syempre meron din tayong B. Ano ba tong B? B, it represents the distance perpendicular to the transverse axis from the vertex to the asymptote line. So, mamaya magigets natin yan. Bakit nga ba may B? Para sa yung B? For starters, ito yung mag-direct kasi ng curve nyo ng hyperbola. Last terminology natin is the asymptotes. Ito yung asymptotes, ito yung straight line approached by a given curve as one of the variables in the equation of the curve approaches infinity. So, yung asymptotes will be discussed on the next video na lang. For the meantime, you can refer to the image. Ito yung red line. Yan yung diagonal. Yung dalawang diagonal na yan, that's the asymptotes. Alright, so next one is the opening of the hyperbola guide. So, paano natin malalaman kung ang dalawang hyperbola ay pakaliwa at pakanan or pataas at pababa? Pag ang equation mo ay x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1, that will be pakanan and pakaliwa. Pag nauna ang x, pakanan pakaliwa yan. On the other hand, we have y squared over a squared minus 1 ang x squared over b squared is equal to 1. So, that will be pataas and pababa lang. Pag nauna ang y, pataas and pababa. Alright, so let's go to the hyperbola formula table guide, part 1. We have the equation x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared equals to 1. Pag ganito yung equation mo, ang transverse axis mo coincides with the x-axis. So, yung transverse na sa x-axis siya. Ang center, pag x squared lang or y squared, that will be 0, 0 lang. Ang foci mo, ayan. So, nakalagay naman siya sa table. And meron naka-note where b squared is equal to c squared minus a squared, where c is greater than a. Malalaman nyo bakit? Para saan ba yung parang Pythagorean theorem, di ba? Na minodify. Okay, so let's move to the example questions na lang para mas maintindihan natin ano ba yung hyperbola. So, first question, Find an equation of the hyperbola with vertex at 0, 3, and foci at 0, comma, positive negative 5, plus minus 5. So, step 1, i-graph mo muna kung anong meron ka ng given mo. So, you have a vertex of 0, 3, and a foci of 0, positive 5, and 0 and negative 5. So, plus minus, so dalawa yan. Next one, paano natin makukuha yung center? Again, you could check the center by applying the midpoint formula by using the foci of vertices. So, kung gusto mo makuha yung center, so, yung gamitin mo yung foci. So, may 0 and 5 ka. Tapos yung sa kabila naman, that's 0 and negative 5. So, midpoint formula, diba, dapat x sub 1 plus x sub 2 over 2 and y sub 1 plus y sub 2 over 2. So, 0 plus 0, that is 0. Divide mo ng 2, so 0 pa rin. Tapos, ang positive 5, pa-plus mo ng negative 5, that is 0. Divide mo ng 2, that's 0 din. So, ang center mo ay 0. And you can check visually naman makikita mo yung 5 dun sa taas, yung sa violet, tapos yung 0, negative 5. Hanapin mo lang yung gitna. Obviously, it's 0, 0, diba? Okay, so dahil nahanap na natin yung center, let's find naman yung A and C. Okay, paano natin hanapin yung A? Meron tayong gumamit ng table. So, ito yung table natin. Paano mahanap yung A and C? So, for C, that will be yung foci. That is 0, positive, negative C. And for the A naman, tingnan nyo yung vertices table. That will be 0 and positive, negative A. Okay, bakit ako tumingin sa y square? Kasi ang transverse axis mo ay nasa y-axis. Ang transverse axis, again, kung saan nakahalera yung foci, yung vertices, pati center, ay yung transverse axis. So, dahil nandito yun sa y-axis, gagamitin natin yung y square over a square minus x square minus over b square is equal to 1. So, ito yung gagamitin natin formula. Alright, so ang a natin will be positive or negative 3. So, ang layo ng center to the vertex, that will be 3 units. Okay, ang c naman, that will be 5 units kasi ang C is yung layo ng center to the foci or focus. Okay, so nilagay ko na rin yung equation na gagamitin natin. That will be y square over a square minus x square over b square is equal to 1. At yung curve ng hyperbola mo will be pataas and pababa kasi nasa y square. Para ma-solve na natin yung equation, kailangan pa natin mahanap yung b. Paano natin hahanapin yung b? Remember, b square is equal to c square minus a square, where c is greater than a. So, to compute for that one, b square is equal to 5 square minus mo ng 3 square. Ano ba yung c mo ulit? That will be 5. Tapos, i-square mo, that will be 25. Minus mo ng a square. A mo is 3. So, pag i-square mo yan, that will be 9. So, 25 minus mo ng 9, that will be 16. So, b square is equal to 16. Huwag mo na kunin yung b lang. So, b square lang kailangan natin. Going back, substitute ko lang yung a square pati b square. So, ang magiging equation natin will be y square over 9 minus mo ng x square over 16 is equal to 1. At ayan na mismo yung final answer mo. Ayan yung final equation of the hyperbola with vertex at 0, 3 and foci at 0, positive, negative 5. Ayun yung mismong final answer. Y square over 9 minus 1 ng x square over 16 is equal to 1. Okay, next question tayo. Paano naman kung ganito? Given the equation, the hyperbola, x square over 25 minus 1 ng y square over 9 is equal to 1. Identify the following. Center, major axis, vertices, and foci. Nilagay ko muna yung table para maging guide natin kasi I don't want you to be dependent on it. So, first one, yung center. Center, makikita na natin as 0, 0. Remember, pag ang equation mo lang ay x square at y square at wala naman siyang, di naman siya quantity x minus age, center mo automatic yan, 0, 0. Check naman natin, sunod, major axis, x-axis. Pag nauna yung x sa equation, di ba, x square minus y square. Yung isa naman, y square minus x square. Pag naunang x, matik yan. Major axis mo, x-axis yan. Sunod naman yung vertices. Makikita mo, ang a square natin ay 25. Remember the formula x square over a square minus y square over b square is equal to 1. Ano yung nakalagay sa a square? 25. Para makita mo ang a, kunin mo lang yung square root no. So that will be positive and negative 5. Therefore, the vertices are negative 5, 0, and 5, 0. Remember, kung ano yung A, yun yung layo ng from the center to the vertex. Moving on, let's have the focus. Remember, ang focus, meron tayong C. Yung C, yun yung layo ng focus sa center. So, paano natin nahanapin yung C? Remember the formula B squared is equal to C squared minus A squared. Para makuha mo ang C squared, that will be C squared is equal to A squared plus B squared. Parang Pythagorean theorem lang. So, C squared is equal to 25 kasi A squared minus 25, di ba? At ang B squared mo ay 9. So, that will be C squared is equal to 25 plus 9. So, C is equal to the plus minus ng square root ng 34. Kaya, ang foci natin ay nasa negative square root 34, 0 at nasa square 34, 0. Nakuha na natin yung foci, vertices, center, and major axis. Alright, so dito nagtatapos ang ating video about hyperbola introduction. Next video naman natin will be asymptotes of hyperbola and center at HK. So makikita mo sa screen nyo, ito na mismo yung susunod na lesson natin. Paano pag ganyan naman? If you would like to comment or suggest another math and language video or kung may assignment kayo, please comment down below. Again, this is James, your math and language instructor. Please like and subscribe. Thank you. Bye-bye.